A minute's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
All right, we're up to 30 seconds.
Boy, it really is dragging along, isn't it? Okay.
I brought an extra tape, so if we need to retape because we screwed up, it's okay.
Oh, well, we can just tape over it.
Oh, yeah, we could do that too. Okay, so we're down to 45 seconds.
Okay. I'm sitting on my skirt the wrong way.
Ready, and... And here we go, we're taping.
Hi, I'm Diana Montford, and this is the Diana Montford Show. Yes, it is. You know it is. My guests are Ms. Lydia Radin, whom you know from her own show on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. She airs on Friday evenings from 6 to 7. She's live. We're on film. And my other guest, telephonically, is Captain Michael McPhillips, who is a 9/11 first responder, and he is going to tell us why cancer must be included in the Zadroga bill. It isn't included as we speak, and there's going to be a vote in late June. As we shoot this, it is late May of 2012. There's going to be a vote in late June of 2012, and the vote must include cancer, because so many first responders did get cancer. And as you just saw, that's Captain McPhillips. That's his photograph. And we must include cancer in this. And just as an aside, the popular singer Donna Summer recently died. She maintained that she got lung cancer because she lived downtown during the 9/11 fracas, and she got lung cancer from that. And so another wonderful person is gone thanks to 9/11. Hello, Captain McPhillips. How are you? Oh, but Lydia, don't you have something you're going to show?
Yes, I do. Actually, I just want to talk about Donna Summer. I was completely unaware that she died. I mean, I knew she died. She died of lung cancer,
Right,
and her contention is that she died of lung cancer because she inhaled poison.
Exactly, and she said it to everyone who would listen, including her doctors, that what caused her lung cancer was living downtown when 9/11 happened, and she didn't leave, and she inhaled that awful dust and stuff for a week or so, however long the miasma was in the air, and she ultimately died of it 11 years later. So that should tell you something. And this is Donna Summer with all her fame and all her money and all her specialists. They couldn't save her.
So Captain McPhillips, this was a woman, I mean, apparently she wasn't there during the cleanup, but you're a 911 first responder, and you're here with us today because it's late May of 2012, and there's going to be a decision made, yes?
Correct.
And that decision is to add some of these cancers that the 911 first community got through inhaling and ingesting poisons during 911. Is that correct?
That is correct. And it's not only the 9/11 first responders, now that you brought that up, but it's also the residents who live down around Ground Zero and Battery Park.
Excuse me, such as Donna Summer.
You know, all that area, they all breathed in the same stuff we did as first responders and residents. Not only that, they went back into their apartments, you know, weeks later, and their stuff was covered in the dust. You know, so...
May I ask, how far up would the danger extend? For example, would people who live in the West Village also be at risk?
I believe so. I don't know the exact... if you go on the NIOSH website, I believe there is a map of Manhattan where there is the breaking point. All the way down to, I know it's down to the Battery. I'm not sure how far across it goes or to what street. I don't know the specs on it.
I know a judge who lives downtown in Battery Park City. And when this happened, all the furniture, he and his family, he's a married man with children, all their stuff was covered in dust. His wife was actually sort of happy because now she got to buy new furniture on the insurance. You know, so I mean, that's interesting. You know.
So what you're saying is that it's not just limited to 911 first responders. It's even people who came days later, inhaled this poison, and got cancer. So we need to add cancer. This healthcare bill just doesn't cover 911 first responders. It covers other people. Is that correct?
Well, it also covers residents. There's a large group of residents that are have been affected by it. It's not only the first responders; it's also people that live down there, that work down there. You got to remember the Stuyvesant School is right there.
Right.
A lot of the students that were there are coming down with cancers.
Oh, God, and they would be very young. They would be, what, 28, 29?
Yes, and they're coming up. They could be younger than that. They could be in their early 20s. You know, if they were in ninth grade, they would be what, 24 now, and they're coming down with cancers. It's not only
No,
the first responders.
Captain McPhillips, the problem is that the Zadroga bill does not include cancer of any kind.
No, it does not.
How can they justify that?
Well, I don't know how they can justify it. The facts speak for themselves. The fire department has seen, and the police department, I think, have seen a 20-something. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it was a 20% increase before 9/11 and after 9/11 of their men who were down at ground zero that ended up with some type of cancers.
Well, but still, how can they say, well, we will not cover cancer because we do not believe that these people contracted cancer from 9/11? How can they dare say that when it's obvious to anyone that these people did get cancer from 9/11?
I don't know how they can look themselves in the mirror and say that it's not possible.
We'll never be surprised at the fact that politicians have no conscience, but be surprised that they would dare be so obviously self-serving that they would, deliberately alienate a large segment of the public by saving a few dollars here. So what can we do to make sure that cancer is included in the Zadroga bill?
Well, you can, contribute to the Feel Good Foundation.
The Feel Good Foundation.
Call your representatives and let them know how important it is to you. And, a lot of the answers we got when we were down in Washington was that it's not a American issue, it's a New York issue.
Uh-huh.
And that was told to us by several of the representatives.
Who? Do you have names?
I don't remember exact names, and
That's a shame. We should out them for being unfeeling monsters.
Yeah, I know. Senator McCain was very much one of those people.
Well, okay, wait. The purpose of the show is not to bash people. The purpose of the
Yes,
show
it
is...
is.
Not.
Speak
And
for
you know what?
yourself.
We don't want to bash anybody.
Oh, sure we do. Why not?
What we want to do is...
Just help everybody. It's not only a New York thing. Thousands of people came from all over the country, and everybody chipped in, and everybody in America said on 9/11 that they would support anybody that went down to the site.
But people have short memories. Not to be cynical here, but now that the danger has passed for the rest of the country, they say, oh, right, yeah, New York, well.
Okay, but that's not the point. The point is that there's going to be a decision made in June. This is late May 2012. Would it help Captain McPhillips if the viewing audience, if they want to do something, and it's not just isolated to 911, should we call Senator Schumer? Should we call
both Senator Schumer
And what
and
exactly shall we call
Gillibrand
Senator
have been
Schumer?
very instrumental in getting everything we've gotten so far.
Oh, so Senator Schumer has helped.
Oh, he's been phenomenal.
Oh, good.
And Gillibrand has stepped up above and beyond.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Both
They're
of
doing
them.
their jobs. That's why
And
we
they
elected
realize it's just not a New York issue. It's an American issue.
Okay, so we're here to urge that certain, even though they want to include all cancers, they will include some cancers, and these are cancers that are either you breathe them or you ingested them.
Well, so you're saying that they will include some, or they totally exclude all cancers?
Well, what we're trying to get done, and it's in NIOSH's hands right now, the Center for Control and Disease, U.S., they are voting. Well, there was a vote, and the board recommended that they do include 45 different types of cancer. On the 45 different types of cancers, they're all absorption cancers, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, colon cancer.
All these are, and are these included, or do you want to have these included?
Well, they have been included, and they have been recommended by the
Well,
board.
I'm not clear on something. You said no cancer was included, and now you're
No-
saying
no-
some are included.
No cancers have been included in the bill. We're trying to get them added to the bill right now.
And the cancers you're trying to get added are the so-called absorption cancers, like lymphoma, like whatever.
Lung cancer, the kidney cancer, the liver cancer, leukemias.
And these are only the cancers that we know about today. For all we know, Agent Orange is still affecting people in Vietnam several generations later. It's entirely possible that first responders, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren will still be paying the price, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. With all the chemicals, there was several thousand chemicals.
Now really, what was in the basement of the World Trade Center? Everyone says that, well, first of all, wasn't the emergency station located in the World Trade Center? So when it blew up, there was no governing body to save the situation because the
Correct. OEM was actually for New York City, was out of Building 7.
The infamous Building 7, which collapsed without anything crashing into it, and it collapsed very much in the style of an organized demolition, like that, straight down.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's lots of theories, but the thing is, there is a law passed now called the Zadroga Bill.
Mm-hmm.
It
James Zadroga Bill, and it was named after James Zadroga, who died of cancer.
And it did not provide for medical care to be provided for cancers. So what's happening now is you want to add cancers to the laws that would provide this health care. And the struggle that you're having is you'd like to add all cancers, but the folks that are making this decision don't want to include all cancers. So you're going to get what you can. And what you can is some absorption cancers. So when you absorb poisons, they move through your system, they go through your kidneys and liver. So that you'll take as much as you can get, because there are people dying now. Is that correct?
That is absolutely
And many have already died, haven't they?
1,090 something. I don't know the exact.
Will any compensation be given to the dead person's heirs?
If they file for the Zadroga Act, and one of the issues with the Zadroga Act is that, say, a first responder will get 10% of the money up front,
And?
the compensation. He's got to pay back Social Security. He's got to pay back his disability.
Well, then he's not getting any money, because if he has to pay it back, then it's gone.
Yeah. Well,
This is the old shell game, isn't it?
it is the old shell game. But you know what? And then they get 10% up front, and I think 6 years down the road they get the rest.
And if they die before those 6 years have elapsed?
Then their family will get it.
So right now the sense of urgency is to try to get cancers added to this bill. And in February, John Field, who runs the Feel Good Foundation, he's a pretty well-known leader.
Can we cut to the film of John Field?
Yeah, we can. We're going to look at John Field's testimony to the advisory committee.
Well, that'd be great.
John Field, a 9/11 responder and founder of the Feel Good, F-E-A-L Good Foundation, who is tireless in his quest to get compensation for. He himself lost half a foot in 9/11. So he really understands what it's about, and he's doing his best to do his best to get. We want you to see this. Watch this.
Okay, here we go.
Our next commenter is John Field.
How's everybody doing today? Good. I don't think I need a microphone.
We do, so that people on the phone can hear you.
Which one? This one?
No.
This little one?
Sanchez. Those are Sanchez?
Hello?
No.
You're wasting my 5 minutes.
No, we
How's that? Good?
That's great.
All right.
The time begins when you start speaking.
I'll introduce myself when I'm done so I can get my 5 minutes in. One, I want to thank NIOSH for doing this. I want to thank the STAC committee for hearing me today. I'm not here to ask you to add cancer to the bill. I'm here to ask you add certain cancers to the bill. I'm getting a little tired of hearing we need to add cancer to the bill. You cannot add every cancer to this bill. That's impossible. I get it. I worked on this bill for 8 years, more than most people in this room. But there are cancers, unequivocally, undoubtedly, that need to be added to this bill yesterday. I am never the smartest man in the room, and I'm not even the smartest man at this podium, probably. But it doesn't take a scientist or a doctor to know that 9/11 and its toxins have caused these blood cancers. For years, when we walked the halls of Congress, we were applauded for the way we approached Congress to get this bill passed. And when we were lobbying to get that bill passed, we were lobbying to get cancer added to that bill. But during the negotiations, that was taken. But I am going to use the same zest and the same energy to help get those certain cancers added to this bill. I will occupy ground zero. Don't worry about Occupy Wall Street. I will do whatever it takes, because at the end of the day, I care about human life. I don't care about what you're having for dinner. I don't want to go to your house for coffee. I care about human life. I care about adding cancer, certain cancers, to this bill. And as for epidemiology, let that not be your only role model. Epidemiology can only do so much. Like the cancers that we know that should be added, use epidemiology on that. 9/11 is unprecedented. It never happened before. So use something else other than epidemiology. And believe me, I can't even spell the word. That's how smart I am not. Okay, so I'm asking you guys, with power comes responsibility. You have a responsibility today, tomorrow, and from this day forward to do what is morally right. I just came from a press conference at City Hall and I almost threw up on myself, listening to people who do not know what they're talking about. But appreciate the magnitude of this, because I do. I lost half a foot 10 years ago, 11 weeks in the hospital. I'm lucky, but I feel guilty that I can go to Sheila and say I want to apply for the Sidroga bill because I lost half my foot. Boo-hoo. Say that to John Walcott or Arthur Noonan, who have leukemia and blood cancers. That should be added yesterday. You're playing God right now. Our fate is in your hands. I am the nicest guy in the world. I want to be your friends. But like I told every member of Congress and every member of Senate when I met them for 8 years for this bill, I will do whatever it takes to get cancer added to this bill. Thank you. You guys are stuck with me.
And that was John
The
Field,
document which you handed out to
founder of
the
the
committee
Feel Good
members will be...
Foundation, F-E-A-L, Feel Good Foundation. He is obviously a 9/11 first responder who, as you heard on the tape, lost half a foot and is dedicated to getting, as he put it, some cancers added to the Zadroga bill. He is, I love this man, he is honesty personified, he has no hidden agenda. He wants justice for all, and I sincerely hope that he gets it. So now, Captain McPhillips. Hello?
Yes.
What, aside from contacting our representatives, and you say that Senators Schumer and Gillibrand have done all they can to make this happen, to have certain cancers included, is there anything else we can do?
Well, you can get the word out. One of the biggest problems is that America has forgotten about the first responder and the residents next to Ground Zero. And people don't know that we're suffering this way. It's not covered in the media the way it should be.
Is that deliberate, that they're not covering it?
I don't know. Sometimes I think it is, but honestly, I don't know. Pix 11, which is a local TV station
The local
around
New
us,
York television station, yes.
has been fantastic. I mean, they've really have covered our events. They've donated time and money to our cause.
Can people donate money to your cause?
Well, they can go right onto the Feel Good Foundation.
Want me to show it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna show the Feel Good Foundation website.
You can donate right there. Anything you donate at all. would
Okay,
be
now
greatly
for
appreciated.
people who are vision impaired, some people actually just listen to our show. They like the conversation. They don't watch
Okay,
it.
well, it's www.feelgood, FEALGOODFOUNDATION foundation.org.
And if people want to contribute, it's obviously a not-for-profit. They may contribute.
Correct. All the money goes towards the first responders. None of the board members are paid. They're all volunteers.
And the money goes to help the first responders to survive, to
survive,
buy
to
food, to keep a
get
roof
to
over
the
their
doctors,
heads.
pay for an ambulance to take them to the doctors, because these are all things that aren't covered.
Are they getting any kind of disability at all?
Some of them are. The firemen and the policemen obviously are, but besides the firemen and policemen, you got to remember there's probably 10 to 20,000 other volunteers that have gotten down there that aren't covered under.
So now what I'm saying is some busboy from Nicaragua who worked at the restaurant and managed to escape, at the windows of the world, he has no disability. He just dies.
Well, if he was at the World Trade Center on that day and he was able to prove it, I believe they got compensated.
Well compensated, or just here's $5? Good luck to you, buddy.
No, I think they got well compensated. The first responders, the people that volunteered, that brought waters down to the workers, and the people that worked on, like, the Spirit of New York that was down there and fed over, the French donated
Right.
over a month of the Spirit of New York being at
What
Ground
happens to
Zero
all those
and
people from
donated
other
probably
countries?
100,000 meals.
Well, what happens to those French people if they came here to help us?
Well,
Now they're sick. Now who's going to help those people?
that's just it.
It's not an American problem. It's not a New York problem.
Yes, it's a Paris problem. Sorry.
It's not.
Well,
a New York problem.
can't the UN step in and do something?
I don't know if it's in the UN's jurisdiction. I think,
Isn't 9/11 pretty much a worldwide problem?
well, the French, I brought up the French because they own the Spirit Cruises, and they're the ones that donated the time and the expense of having the ship down there at Ground Zero. And all the employees were, residents of New York.
Doesn't can I interject for a second? Alex Sanchez deals with some undocumented workers who.
Correct. There's probably a couple of thousand. The janitorial people that came in and cleaned the offices out of all this dust. And
I happen to know some transgender women who lived in the nooks and crannies of the World Trade Center, one of whom we've never heard from since.
wow.
Yeah.
So you've got Alex Sanchez works pretty closely with John Field to try to help the undocumented workers.
Correct.
Okay, so that's good too.
What can be done for persons who are undocumented, since even going to the emergency room is difficult for them because they have no ID?
Well, I think the laws are pretty much covered.
What, emergency Medicaid, that kind of thing?
Yeah. And the the Centers for Excellence that was set up, they just have to prove they were down there and they had to apply.
How does one prove that, though? I mean, come on. How do you prove it?
Say they were working for a company that was, they got paychecks.
What if they were paid off the books in cash, as many undocumented people are?
Yeah.
But people would know you were down there. You would have witness
Right.
statements.
You know what?
You would
Everybody got identification cards.
From the company for which they were working.
Correct.
So, yeah.
In order to get in and out of the site.
Okay, now we have to wrap it up soon, so people can contact you via the Feel Good Foundation?
Correct.
And the Feel Good Foundation, that is spelled FEALGOOD. It was started by John Field, a 9/11 first responder who, yes, lost half his foot. and is doing his best to get some kind of compensation for those who were injured either immediately or in the long term on 9/11. First responders, if you were a volunteer, if you were, say, a secretary or a waiter or something, and you just said, you know what, I'm going down there and help, and you did, and now you have cancer, and you wonder, how did I get that? Maybe that's how you got it. Can they avail themselves of help via the Feel Good Foundation?
Yes, they can.
Okay. All you have to do is somehow prove that you were there.
Hmm.
And, okay.
I think you got about 2 more minutes left, and the reason why you're doing. Thank you so much,
Lydia, you know all about this. Why don't you take over and talk to us for 2 minutes?
Oh, well, just for the last thing, the sense of urgency now is we're in late May of 2012. Just to stay on point, is this correct, Captain McPhillips?
Yes.
And what you're trying to do is have cancers added to the legislation so that those people who come down with cancers can have their health care covered. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so thank you so much.
My joy and pleasure. Are you kidding? How wonderful. I love all my interviews and all my guests, but this beats the hell out of what shade of lipstick suits everyone, dear. You know, I mean, this is maybe a little more.
Didn't you meet John Field on a radio show?
Yes, I did, and he was wonderful. I briefly did a radio show at WWRL, AM 1600. And I had John Field on as my guest for the hour, and he was wonderful. And he explained everything we needed to know, just as Captain McPhillips has now. And I strongly urge you, if you have any money you'd like to donate to anyone, this is an excellent cause. Please donate to the Feel Good Foundation, FEALGOOD. What's their website?
Well, I think we can go.
Why don't we just say it?
Oh, the Feel Good Foundation website? It's the Feel Good Foundation
.org.
.org.
Feelgoodfoundation.org. FEALGOODFOUNDATION.org. Anyway, my name is Diana Montford. My wonderful guests have been the wonderful, brilliant Lydia Radin, whom you know from her own show here on MNN Friday evenings from 6 to 7, and the wonderful Captain Michael McPhillips, who is also a first responder who has survived. Captain, do you have cancer?
No, I do not. Thank God.
Thank God. Anyway, please contact the Feel Good Foundation to learn more about this wonderful cause, and should you wish to donate, please do. My name is Diana Montford. I love you a lot. I love you all, and even if no one else loves you, you know I love you, and I will see you next time. Let's say bye to the nice people, all three of us. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.